All right. Okay, so we'll make a start. Um, so indoor bowls, for those that don't already know, is going to be based at Claudelands Event Centre. So an amazing facility. It's actually going to house indoor bowls, bocce, football, and is also the place where the athletes will go through the Healthy Apps program. They'll have the athletes village based there as well, and it's also where the disco and the opening and closing ceremonies will be. Amazing facility if you haven't already been. Very hard to describe, but outside of the main arena, there's two really large rooms at the back. They're used for conferences, exhibitions, job fairs, all the, careers days and like at a home show and all those things. We're using one of those rooms for indoor bowls, and right next door to it, partitioned off, is bocce as well. So it's going to be a really cool hub for our athletes. Not sure, and apologies if you already know this information, but the schedule we have in place for indoor bowls is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. So we haven't finalized the actual schedule yet, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But if you're just for your planning right now as coaches, managers, all that type of stuff for your teams, that's where we're at right now with indoor bowls. 10 a.m. start, 4:30 finish. The good thing is, there's heaps to do around Claudelands as well. I'm sure there'll be a bit of downtime in between. So we're quite lucky. Indoor bowls is actually one of the sports I'm really looking forward to seeing nationals, based on the venue itself. It's so cool. It's in a really, really good part. And I'm sure our athletes will love it. So I'll give you a bit of an overview of the registrations. Obviously, you'll be aware of your own registrations, but I'll give you a bit of a grand total of where we're at. So in our singles, we have 5 athletes. So 5 athletes in the A grade. We have 19 pairs teams. And the breakdown of the 19 pairs teams, we are going to explore this a little bit more, and I'll bring Chris and Jane into the conversation. But within the 19 teams, we have 2 A grade teams, 16 B grade teams, and 1 C grade team. So just to repeat that again, 2 A grade, 16 B grade, 1 C grade. Okay, and then for our 4s, we've got 9 teams. And the breakdown there is 1 in the A grade, 7 in the B grade, and 1 in the C grade. That's 1 in the A grade, 7 in the B, and 1 in the C.
7 in the B.
Okay, did everyone get that? I'm happy to read that out again, or I can, we will follow this up with an email and stuff.
So is one of the A's not to be taking part in the 4s? I think you've got 5 singles for the A's. We've only got 1 4, so there's a person left over.
Must be.
Yeah, must be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So a little bit surprising, and me, Chris, and Jane have had some conversations, but this session tonight is going to be a little bit different to how we're doing the sessions with other sports. Just got a message off Jane. She can hear me, but her microphone. She can hear us, but we can't hear her. So we're going to be challenged with the technology, but that's all right, Jane. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not going to throw any surprises out there anyway. It's only what me, you, and Chris have gone through. So feel free to message me or put it in the chat if you have anything. Yeah, so I'll probably bring Chris in here, but we do want to have a conversation around the makeup of each of those formats. So with the pairs, for example, the 19 teams, you can tell straight away, 16 in the B grade, that's quite a lot. With only 2 in the A grade and 1 in the C grade. as we're working through the schedule, looking at our divisions and all the stuff that's involved with our programming, we've got a couple of options. So I'll probably let Chris jump in because I'll probably butcher the indoor bowls lingo, but I'll keep jumping backwards and forwards. So Chris, if you want to jump in and sort of share what we're thinking right now, and I would be really keen to get some feedback from you guys.
Yeah, it's quite a relevant sort of a point actually, and I didn't sort of look at it when it said 5, so there's still one A grader sitting out on the sidelines that won't be playing in the 4s, I guess, and the peers. I mean, I know in Otago they've only got 3 players, so they are missing 1 for a 4, and I know they were keen, so that could negate a bye, but then it means there's 2 A grade players and a C grader and a B grader. How many of your guys' teams are all completely A graders, completely B graders, completely C graders, or is it split? Can't hear you, Sally. Sorry, mate.
Oh, can't hear you, Sally. Still can't hear you, Sally.
So, type in the chat. What about you? And have you guys got?
So I've got one team of B grades.
Yeah.
Going.
So which clubs are there? Taringa's got 1 A grader and 2 B grades. So you just got 3 players, Sally? Or that's 3 teams? Yeah. Sally, she just typed in the chat.
Kylie, how many have you got from Rotorua?
3 teams.
One team of B grade. I'm only standing, I'm sorry. I'm not the coach. I'm just standing in to listen to the information.
That's right. Yeah. So 1 B grade. Yeah, so what we're looking at essentially is, like Gary said, it's a bit of a it's going to be difficult to division because you've only got 2 A grade players or 2 A grade teams at the most in the peers. You obviously can't play a division with 2 teams, and you certainly can't play a division with only 1 team as well for C graders. So we are potentially going to have to look to combine both the peers and both the 4s as pretty much all B grades. But what we'd obviously try and do in the interest of fairness is try and find from those teams that have the B graders in there as to which ones feel as though they're sort of more competent of those ones where we can try and put the A graders with there to try and sort of division it that way. Ideally, it's not going to be easy to try and play divisioning game beforehand with only 2 teams. That's going to almost make that impossible to do that because you're going to be having teams playing divisioning games just for kicks because they're playing against B graders, whereas there's only going to be 2 A grade teams to even try and look to division those. So I think probably we need to maybe just say, well, C graders, you're going to have to come up anyway, and A graders, you're going to have to join in with the B graders, and then try and make those couple of 3 divisions as equal and as fair as we can to be able to give everyone that sort of decent competition. So that's sort of really what I want to look at tonight for this, is to get teams gauges on how they feel their teams are, whether your team is in the A grade and it's got a couple of B graders in it or C graders in it, or whether it's a B grade team with a C grader, as I know there is for, say, I'll keep harping back to Otago because I know their teams, and just to see that so I can sort of try and get, so Jane and I basically can get it, and Stacey can get a bit of relevance when it comes to actually putting those grades together and those divisions together to make it as equitable as we possibly can.
Chris, if it goes like it did the last Nationals, that Friday or that first day is just A grades.
Yeah, so there's A grades, yeah. So A grades, just singles.
So they're not going to be playing all day though. So why can't we do a grading in the from 11 o'clock or in the afternoon or something? Because we don't know. I have no idea which other B grade teams are going. I know Sally's B grade. I know Rotorua's B grade. I know Sandra's B grades, but I don't know South Canterbury or wherever you come, Otago. I have no idea what those players are like. So why can't we do a grading?
And we don't have any idea what the players are like either too, And in an indoor bowls world, I mean, we sort of don't have.
You do though, because from the events they've taken place, who wins. I can tell you who wins all of Central North Island, because I know, because I've been to 4 events, so I know which clubs there are. I don't want to be in Sally's group. I know that. I say that. No, I'm joking. But, I know local clubs, but I don't know the others at all.
Yeah. With 2 teams, it's going to be hard to try and grade and hard to try and do that.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we grade the Bs. So we grade the Bs on 12 o'clock on that Friday. The A's do their thing.
Yeah,
they finish. We grade the Bs in a, I don't know, pairs or a 4 would be quicker, wouldn't it? And then from that, you then take, what have you got? You got 6. So you got 8 teams. Get rid of the Cs. You got 7 teams. So from that, you take the top 2 Bs and put them in the A grade, or 3, whatever it has to be. Yeah. You take the bottom Bs and stick them in the C grade. And keep the middle 2, just or bring the C's up then. So you take the top 3, put them in the A grade, and keep the rest in the B grade. You do that grading on the Friday afternoon.
That's a possibility. Sally has also just said that they used to have B1, B2, B3 depending on capabilities.
They did. They've always had that.
Yeah, they've always had that.
Yeah, and we had like 7 B grades in the last nationals. Bs are always big.
Yeah, and that's the majority of your players. So, and when you're having this grading system, I guess most of it's going to be B graders, isn't it? Yeah. So, Karen.
Well, I was just going to say, Sally, what do you think about grading? You're got the most experience here. What do you think about grading in a Friday afternoon or something? I know you're typing.
Yeah, it's a shame she has to type. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, that is a possibility if you think that's going to be the fairest way. Otherwise, it's just a matter of just straight luck, really. Yes, you think it's a good idea. That's what she says. So the Bs, you'd either have to grade it as 4s or as pairs, and you could even make shorter grading games if you wanted to do it that way. And then those grading games would then go through for the pairs and the 4s, correct?
Yeah, but if you did it as 4s, it'd be quicker, wouldn't it, than pairs? Oh, I don't know. Would it be?
Pairs is usually quicker. I mean, you could, even for grading games, you can actually knock games down a little bit of time anyway and not play sort of a full-length sort of pairs game for a grading game, because you only be playing 2 or 3 games for grading.
Yeah.
To get that there and see. So it's more really what
the coaches capable. Yeah, I think the coaches do, Sally. It's just we don't know the other ones, and
So, sorry to jump in. I think the idea for us here tonight, for Jane, Chris and I, is just to work out the best format. So I like the idea of the grading. I also like the idea of maybe going back out to the coaches, like you guys are just saying now. You guys know your athletes, and maybe going and asking for some more information on a pretty quick turnaround. So asking the B1, 2, and 3 question, that would also then maybe give us the information we need. My worry is that a coach would give. I'm not saying this happens, but I also know it happens in other sports. If a coach says they're B3, but really they're not, it can make the experience a little bit difficult for some of the lower, the guys in the C grade. So I think we're just exploring what it looks like, but it sounds to me that you guys think the grading is probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. That's because that day is not going to be filled with A. Like previously, you'd watch the A's and that would go on for ages because there was lots of A's, but that's not the case now. So you've got at least half a day where that facility's not being used.
Yeah, so
you've still got the umpires, you've still got all of that you've got there for the day.
Yeah, so you've got 5 rounds basically for the singles, because you pretty much will play a round robin with your singles with 5. And that'd be how that'll work, and that'd be half-hour games, if that's what you normally play. 9 innings, 5 half-hour, depending on what finishes first. So you could throw grading into there too if you fear that's the way to do it. But also would be good to get an idea where the coaches feel that their teams are at with that, to just along with it. But ideally, the grading.
I think there needs to be some good explanations of that. Then are we going to go, how successful has your team been over this year period? Have you won events? How are we going to?
It's also how they feel they can foot it against A grade players, because indoor bowls, in mainstream, I mean, how you've got women and men playing against each other, you've got juniors and seniors playing against each other, sort of thing. It's a bit of a, the whole grading thing to me is it's a new thing for me coming into the indoor bowl scene, because it's outside of Special O. The grading thing isn't really used in any other competitions I'm familiar with. So, to make sure it's in the interest of fairness, of course, we need to do that. So, yeah, Jane also likes the idea of grading with what we've got there from Gary. So hey, we can look at that for sure. But again, we want to try and sort of maybe get a bit of a guide from clubs too if they feel where their teams are at.
Okay. Does that sound like a bit of an approach from here then? I'm very conscious of our time frames around leading into the game. So looking at it, we can take that feedback away. I can go out to all the clubs that have registered and ask them for a pretty quick turnaround, just to let us know where they sit, exactly where they think they sit. And then if we schedule some grading in, Chris, in that day one for that B grade, that would allow us then to confirm the schedule, obviously, for the following 2 days.
Yeah. So looking at the schedule for the following 2 days, we'd be looking at, with 19 teams, you'd be looking at sort of 3 divisions of a 6, 6 and a 7. And with the 4s, 2 divisions of a 4 and 5. So, yeah, if we can punch something out on that Friday afternoon with a couple of shorter games just for the grading purposes, it obviously gives the B graders a couple more games during the weekend, but necessarily it's something we need to do, just obviously to try and look at it in the interest of fairness. So if the majority of you seem happy with that, which it looks like we are in the chat, then that's obviously something we'll look to do.
Okay.
Do you know who the C grade is? Club?
I'm not sure. Has anyone here got the C graders in their club?
No, I
haven't got it in front of me, Anna, but I can get it. And what I will do is go out to them as well and actually ask if that would be a B3, for example, or a B1, or whichever because it's an opinion right now. Like, we're asking a coach's opinion, and I'm very aware that the more experienced coaches may pitch their team a little bit more accurate than others. And also on form as well. When they submitted the registration form, they might have been playing terrible on the back of COVID or not practiced or something. So, yeah, definitely worth going back out to the clubs. And I think that is the fairest way. Get that information, and then that'll help us, Chris, put something in the schedule around some grading. What would that, and you might not have an answer for me right now, but what would the format, do you think, for the grading look like? Is that just like a 10-minute game or something? Like play a few ends?
Yeah, we'd probably play 5 ends or something like that, just to get a decent length of game in, and maybe say 3 games or so. Just 3 to 4 games, depending on the numbers there, just to get an idea of where people start to go and try and sort of pick from there. I think that would be one of the ways, without sort of over exerting the athletes by sort of the B graders getting another extra 4 games in there. That would be my feeling anyway.
Okay. And I suppose on that as well, Chris, that links in nicely to just probably tell the crew on here tonight that some of the people that are supporting the event locally, they're involved with indoor balls at a high level.
Yep.
So they'll be on hand as well to support that type of stuff. So with the grading and those things, they're going to be helping as officials at the event as well. So I think it could be a really good idea. And I don't think we're going to need to play heaps and heaps. I just think we get the information from the clubs and then look where we're going to need to do the grading and then throw it in the schedule for the Friday.
Yeah. And for all intents and purposes, if you're going to have the B graders doing this and A graders playing as well, you might as well say, hey, C grade, you come and have a role as well, because the C grade could actually surprise you. I mean, I'm not 100% sure who the C grade ones are. I can only speak from Otago's perspective because I know Otago that they have a B grader and a C grader, and I think they've entered the B grade because obviously the B grader is the higher, so they have the C grader in their mix as well. Just wondering whether any other clubs were the same. That sort of appears. But, yeah.
How does that work in the clubs? Does most of you, so if you've got in your pairs 1 B grader and 1 A grader, would you go as an A grade or a B?
You have to, You have to go to the higher up. Yeah. So that's the issue. A's aren't allowed to play in the B's. So that's the issue you guys have got to get around, because that's so they all know. So I've got a C grader, but he plays in B's because I've only got 1 C grader. But equally, when we have tournaments and we put 1 B grader, team up into the A's to make sure there's 4 teams in the A's, and yeah, they just know they're in there. But and we just say, good practice.
That's
but
great.
You put them in the one below.
What I will do as well, when I go out to the clubs, I'll ask Stacey to work some magic, and I'll actually get her to send me each club's breakdown, and I'll actually ask for a little bit more detail on these guys.
But actually, are you gonna, Chris? Are you gonna say that because you said 3 divisions? So you're gonna call it a division for like the 4s, and just say they're no.
Well, technically, there's only 1 A grade team in the 4s. There's 2 in the peers, so you probably could say it's an A grade with that because.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Hang on, sorry, I thought it disappeared.
No,
I'm still here. Yep.
Well, there's one 4.
Yeah, there's 1 4 and there's 2 A grade peers teams. So, you potentially could go. I mean, you could even go with the 3 divisions, say even 4 teams, or 4 teams for the A grade, have the 2 A grade teams and the 2 best B grade teams, and call them an A grade, and then have a bigger B grade and C grade. But the C grade ones, obviously, the C grade team is going to be 1 team, but that means it's probably going to be 6 or 7 B grade teams that are technically playing C grade.
I wasn't suggesting a C grade. I just suggested an A and a B.
Yeah, so that'll still make.
I was suggesting because, and then that C comes up to the B. So then you're fulfilling that thing of the A's aren't playing in a B, the B's are playing in the A.
Yeah, I think, the whole grading thing is a little bit problematic in terms of that too. But going forward, I think for this, we're going to end up looking at probably several different B grades, so 1, 2, and 3, if that's the case. And then how do we rank that? How do you normally rank that in terms of the abilities and gradings? Because otherwise you're going to have something like 12 teams in the B grade.
But it would be 2 B grades, so it'd be 6 in each.
Yeah, so you're going to have B and C. So then you're using that grading system to then allocate those B1s and B2s. Is that correct what you're saying?
I'm saying you'd have an A grade that would have A's and B's. You'd have 2 B grades, and the 3rd B grade would have a B's and a 1 C.
We'd have a C in it. We'd have to have a C in it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the way you guys are talking about it, it's going to have to be with the grading system there to be able to do that fairly and to be able to make it so that you're not having A's playing. Well, sort of,
But we've just ticked off the grading system, haven't we? We've just all agreed that.
More or less, yeah. Well, sound of it, so if it works, it works.
We haven't got time to think of loads of other things, so.
No, and look, I'll get onto it pretty swiftly and get the data from Stacey and go back out to some of the clubs. Very conscious that clubs are busy at this time of year, and I may need more time chasing up some. I know you guys have thrown it in the chat here, but it'd be really good if you could respond to the email I send out, just so I can put them all in one place, so whoever's looking at it can just get a full picture. Is there anything else, Chris, you think we need information-wise from these guys just to help us with our plans?
Possibly not, no. So we are going to have some support from Waikato and the Bowling Association. So we've got a number of their rep players, as well as the Matt Blacks, a couple of Matt Blacks coming along to help things with scoring and that. So that's generally the way I'm thinking, that you have a scorer for each game, or you don't sort of have the players scoring their games, or the coaches, correct?
That's right. Yeah, yep. No, not for nationals, no.
Right, okay, right. So, yeah, so that's the way we can mostly do that. Okay, so we just got to chat and from Sally about bocce.
Oh, yeah.
No incessant talking. We should be able to now, can we?
It's actually in a separate room, Sally. So it's like, how can I explain it?
A bocce known for incessant talking, are they?
So what we are doing, obviously we know you indoor bowlers like to have a cup of tea and a bicky and a little sandwich here and there. We're actually setting your own little station up at the back end of the room so that we can kind of keep it all inside if we want to keep it inside. And then when there's an actual break, you guys might want to go have a little wander. So we did actually go around with Jane. So Chris hasn't seen it yet, although he's seen a schematic plan of it. We've got heaps of room. which also keeps us away from the sheet. And it's like a full separate room. So we can't do anything else. I am pretty confident there'll be no distractions. We can shut doors if we need to. Although there's one door that we'll keep open all the time just for officials to float in and out and that type of stuff. We've got our own command center. You'll have your own indoor balls, GMS space, scoring desk, and outside the room, when you guys come in, the athletes and coaches will check in at the sports information desk, which is purely there for indoor balls. So there'll be a bit of a, you can be involved with other sports if you want, but when it's time and we want to keep it to ourselves, we'll be isolated and do our own thing. And you're not the only one who said that. So I have had a few chats around it. A couple of bocce people also said we don't want our athletes wandering into indoor bowls just because they know something else is going on. So yeah, look, we've thought about all that. I actually think we're very lucky with the facility we've got, if I'm really honest. Toilets and all that good stuff is outside directly. There's water fountains directly outside. So it's just the small things I think are going to make it a really good environment for the guys.
There's a wheelchair accessible bathroom?
Yes. All over the full venue. Yeah.
Yeah, just near to the indoor bowls.
Sure there is. Yeah, I will double check, but there's on the bottom floor there's heaps. Yeah.
Cool.
And for any coffee drinkers, they're talking about having the barista just directly outside as well, but that's not confirmed yet. Okay. So I suppose I'll flip it around. Have you guys got any questions for us at this time outside of what we've just gone through?
Can I just ask for the recording? Will you send out a link or something like that so I can forward it on to the coach?
Yeah, great question.
And on to Jill.
What I'll do when I stop the recording, fingers crossed it saves onto the computer. Seems weird because people will be watching it and I'm talking about it, but I will make sure that goes onto the Summer Games website under indoor balls, and I will send the link out to everybody.
Okay.
There is a bit of a delay to get that on because it's quite a big file. I've got to get it to Wellington and then they've got to upload it for me. So it'll be a couple of days after this. And look, I suppose from here, once we email out, it'll be a really good opportunity to share contacts for obviously myself, Jane and Chris. And if there is any questions, we can start ramping up those conversations a little bit more like direct. So please don't wait till you get to the event to ask any of those questions. Fire them through and between us we'll answer them. Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys?
Okay, so I'm just checking because I've got to pass this on, so I need to make sure I've got it right. So you're going to send out an email with the information that you require back?
Yeah. So I'll get information from Stacey. I'll email all the coaches that are registered for indoor bowls.
Okay.
And that'll go directly to them, and I will ask them. Is that the best approach? Is it worth me adding someone else in from the club as well, just to?
Yeah, it is.
Is that a good idea? I don't want, I hear two different things. Some clubs love it where I go just to the coaches. Others like it where they're across everything as well as the coaches. So, yeah, I might sling a couple of other people in from your club there as well, just so we know that information's gone out. I will ask for the information back on the athletes pretty quickly. They'll know, just like you guys typed in the chat, they'll be able to respond pretty quickly. And then we'll look to get a schedule confirmed as soon as we can, and we'll share that with you guys.
Okay.
All right. And I think for us, the big thing is just communication. For us, we want this to be the best ever for our guys. And the more we can iron out before we get there, the better, in our opinion. So really looking forward to it. All right. Yeah. Anything else from you, Chris?
No, again, pretty much the same. For me, I haven't done indoor bowls at Special Olympics level. It's obviously completely different mainstream and with the blind game that I'm involved with too. So your feedback is essential to us, making sure that we cover the bases and cover the things that you want us to cover. and ensuring that there's as much as we can get equitable competition and it's enjoyable competition. And hey, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, isn't it? So I'd love, don't be shy to share concerns or share questions or share anything back with myself and Gary and Jane.
I've kind of spoke to Jane before. It's just about using the umpires and so on. Sometimes they get a bit surprised by how amazing our athletes are, and then they're all chatty and they're helping them, when actually we make it really clear that B graders can't have help once they kind of get to the mat. So
yep.
Yeah, we'd rather, and like, so I got a wheelchair athlete and sometimes they pick up the ball in the wheelchair and I'm like, no, she's more than capable of getting herself. So it's just that when you guys do your team talk with the team there, that if they can watch and don't step in, because the athletes will do it themselves, because we're all moany ones and we make them do it. So
yeah, and that's fine, that's good. Yeah, and as I said, a lot of these guys that we've engaged have been lucky enough to see some special Olympics bowls too, and I think they've got a little bit of an idea with it too. So that's great, and that's always the way they feel like helping. Sometimes they can't over help too, but good comment. Thanks, Anna.
Awesome. No, that's really good feedback. Yeah, look, we'll work as hard as we can to get the schedule out. Stacey's got a really soft spot for indoor bowls, so she will put that to the top of the list. I'm hoping we can come out to you very quickly once I've heard back from all the coaches. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time. I'll stop the recording now.